Okay, I'm making this for my instructor that's taking over for me at school. I'm going to go over to the Immerse2learn login. You have your own login as a teacher. Log in. All right. I made my own classes for each OCP and each grade, either they're high school or adults. Right here is the total package right here. When you start off with Immerse2learn, you get all this. The way we have it now, you can select, do you want to, you can skip some of these classes, you can change the order, and that's what I was doing in my sections, because if I put all the students in here, it's harder to manage. I like to have them as groups. So I have this OCPA, B, C1, and C2. So you got, should be 8 different groups with adults, and I get year 1 for 11th graders and year 2 for 12th graders. So when I go into, like, if I can duplicate this one to make one for next year, like 2026. And when I go in there, I'm actually gonna duplicate one right now. So to get there, you have to go into the administration side, I believe. Let me just check. Or class manager, right there. Students don't have access to this. So it's actually, there's a lot of extras right here, but right there says OCPA High School Year 1. So right up here, you can archive them, like if you don't want to see them anymore, but if they're still in the system, I can make a copy. I'm going to make a copy right now. Copy. So right now I want to make this a different year, 26, right? And I can change this date to be 26. Support email is you. Class builder is this one. This is what we had last year. I'll just leave this alone for now, so we can change as needed. This is everything that's available, and this is what we have on this class. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as is, and we can go over the what do you need and what do you want to do it as. So now I'm going to hit save, hit OK. If I go back to the Immerse2learn icon on the left, they'll bring me back to home base. So notice we have 2, 25 and 26. So if I go to the student information right here, that's everybody that's in 25. I go back, and 26, there's nobody. So you got to put people in there. All right, we'll do that next year. So this is, I made one duplicate, and we'll go over the rest of it later. So when we're done, we probably should archive these, which you have to do in Class Manager. All right, to review somebody, these are the classes that they're assigned. These are the students in the class. This is the assessment report, which is where we look at what they've done, like how many tests they've done, how many they completed. And if I go to the little blue thing here, view and reset tests, this will open up like which ones they did. This is a test average and exam average. So testing and final exams is what I used to use for my testing grade. All right, so I have all these tests here. You can see that that's called a pre-test, and that's a post-test. So if you also go in the system and take this, you'll understand how it works. So it looks like they missed a bunch here. Which one is this? Who's this? Charles, sorry. And you can also see the dates. So after December, they wouldn't have been on it anyway. So it's pretty much, he didn't finish it. So even though he got a 94, if you really average it out for the ones that are missing. So, I'll let you decide how to do that. All right, go back to assessment. That's everybody again. So let's go to Katie, hit the blue button, and she's done almost everything. She probably didn't finish this one. Oh, this is the Fusion one, which I didn't. They probably don't know there's a test built into the Fusion class, so I believe there is. She did very well. I really like the system because you don't have to make out paper tests. You can give this as a homework assignment or in-class assignment when they're not doing anything. And they just poke away a little bit at a time. It's just like you were being up front teaching them, which I would also teach the subjects in front of them. And this will be their review and like the layout procedure, hand tools, bench work, fasteners, blueprint reading. All this is there. Metals and materials, which is also in their certification test. Back to home. All right. So the original system was Total Machinist by itself, which is everything. And a lot of this stuff is duplications like Mill Project GUI control, Mill Project Next Gen control. We have the GUI or the classic control, but the mini mill is a next gen. There really isn't hardly any difference. You've played around with it. The intuitive programming system, I wouldn't bother with that. So you could shut off. If you made a duplicate of this for your own, if you wanted to just have just one for your class, you could do that. These are practice tests for the NIMS right here. Measurement and material safety is the first test. Job planning, bench work layout, mill operations, and turning operations. These are the big four, those four right there. The mill programming one, we need to have inspection for those two parts. What would be mill programming, turning programming, drill press, manual mill, manual lathe, and grinding. But these are practice tests so they can prep for the test center. And down here we have Fusion overview, lathe and mill, Mastercam overview, lathe, mill, and mill 3D. So you get all this training down here. And that's how you manage the system. Let's go back to home base. Up here you got home, you got administration, classes and courses, enrollment, account information. Well, class enrollment would be, we never really use this side. That's for a subscription code. But I usually give the students the Immerse2learn link, and they register themselves. It's the same thing with the NIMS testing link. I'll let them register themselves because they'll have their own password and their login, so they're in charge of that. But you got to make sure they're in our class, so make sure that they select our class. Okay, that's it for this. I'm going to actually roll into the NIMS side. NIMS, all right. I'm going to log out right now. Log out. Let's close this alert. All right. NIMS website is not very good, so all right. Log in. All right, right here. This is the login. Now this will be the same thing when you give the students. You give them that website address. It says right there, log in or register. So they got to go in here. We're already an organization, so we don't have to do this. This is your username and password. I'm going to log in. Now I'm in. Close this alert. This is kind of your panel right here. My profile, testing center, STS. We don't use this. We don't use this. We don't use this. Profile, testing center. And actually, this is a pretty good resume builder if you ever use this. So if I click on my account, I'm already there. So my profile. All right. This is where it gets kind of goofy. Just click on this red button. Oh, I did it wrong. My profile, log back in. There I am. Now I'm in. Up here is, right now you're just a candidate, and I asked NIMS to make you an evaluator and an account administrator. So as a candidate, and I'm a candidate also, I have an exam for the quality inspector, which would be the test to make a teacher able to inspect parts. It says proctor, not assigned. All right, test results. This is for myself. This is like any student can look at this. This is the tests. So I've taken all these. Performance affidavits. And sample tests right here. They have a couple sample tests in here. This is the first one right here. Right there is the first one. They should all take this one, assign that after they register. But they really got to have some knowledge at this point. Job planning, bench work, layout, that one. Those are the two. The other two are not in this sample test area. All right, take test. What's that one? All right. So when you're down at the test center, that's when they'll open this up. My credentials, purchase. We're purchasing for them, so they don't need to get into this area. All right. I'm going to skip evaluate. I'm going to go to account administrator. This is where you're going to handle everybody. You can add candidates right here and put, if you want to do this, I really have them do it. Assign evaluators and proctors. You'll need to do this and patch requests. So notice there's nothing there. I just go, I type in the test, like the job planning one. I just hit job planning bench work, yes. I don't type in everybody's name. I go by date registered. So I go by, if it was the beginning of last year, I'll just do August 1 to current date right there. Hit search. All right. This is everybody that was, I added them in. And Cam, so all the, and you were in line for taking this. Now you got to do assign proctor and assign evaluator. So assign proctor is the test center. Assign the proctor. But it says, right, plus must select one. So I'm going to select Mason, right? Assign proctor. And right here it says, and I already said, right, I already checked one. I already did one. So I could select, Margie used to be the test center, John and Ashley. So pick one of those. Let's make it Ashley, right? That's done. It says right here, proctor assigned is successfully. Go back, and it loses all the information. I gotta type this in again. Job. Then I gotta do this crap again. I don't know why it won't hold the information. Oh, to today, search. Back to Mason, and I want to assign an evaluator. All right, select. So I've already assigned one. That's why it's not coming up. Okay. Back. That's how you. You're going to have to do this for. Not the first test is automatic. It's already set up for you, which is the measurement material safety. The second test, the job planning one, you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to evaluate. The CNC milling and the CNC lathe operations, you're going to have to evaluate. So as an administrator, you got to assign an evaluator and assign a proctor. So, all right. So I'm going to go to evaluator because I'm also the evaluator. Right here. Switch. And right there, I already got evaluate candidates, so I didn't do these guys. Because the administrator, me, assigned me to evaluate. it says right, CNC lathe operations. So I'm going to go to submit affidavit. I read this once. After a while, I realized I don't really have to need this much. All right, I'm going to hit start. It's 7 questions. Official training, car is the official. I don't see anything else I have to answer here. So I'm going to hit next. That list I showed you before, it's all in this here, right here. Candidate has done all this stuff. I say pass. Next. Skill checks, I check the list and I say, yep, he's done all this stuff. Hit pass. Next. Optional, upload pictures taken during, I don't bother with this one. I hit next. If any additional comments, nope, hit next. Checking this block indicates to confirm, yep, I confirm, yes. Next. And by answering yes, I said, yeah, I certify this submission is accurate. Hit next, submit. It says, I'm not worried about the 4 questions I didn't attempt. Hit yes, close. He is done. So if we go to past evaluations right here, and what was that, Nate? Nah, right there. It says right there, 5/21/26. So I evaluated him. I evaluated him for mill operations on 3/9, job planning, and CNC lathe. So I got you as lathe and job planning. I don't know where the milling went, but I checked and it should be there. And these are all the other ones. So I did CNC mill operations. This is the one that's on the list that they're looking for all the time. So I make sure they all definitely get this one. But all these tests are pretty good. Like, I consider them like final exams, that another test. If they can pass the test, you can kind of put that in your grade, I believe. Yeah, see, this one says what did we do? We did a performance type. This is called I forget what they call a car. This one was a project right here. Project means you did something, like the layout project and the bench work project, which are in our OCPA and OCBP project list. The bench work is the metal block, and the job planning, the layout is a steel plate that they do a layout on. And I happen to use a drill press afterwards. So that's your, as an evaluator, you can see who you got to do and who didn't you do. Right? And you can put notifications here. Do I want to be notified? I like to do that, so I do it so I'll get an email of did they sign up and all that stuff. It's a little bit wonky to get around, but the school wants this, so we got to make sure we get it in there. So I'm going to actually take this quality exam. It says Proctor not assigned. I'm going to go administrate myself. Doherty, Doherty. Search. There I am. Oh, I'm Doherty. Oh, I put my wife in there once. Receive notification. Actions. What do we get here? Nope. How about this one? Assign evaluators. And vector right there. Exam only. Yep. Search. There I am. Evaluate. All right. That's it for me. I'll talk to you later.